How's everybody doing? My name's Mike, and we got Mr. Cash with us today. And Cash is a 5-month-old pocket bully. So what we're going to go ahead and do with him today is we're going to do an attention exercise. You see how he's kind of paying attention to something else right there. This exercise I'm going to do is actually going to get him, come here boy, good boy, just to get him to start focusing on me if he starts focusing on something else. Good job, buddy, good boy. So when I first got on the leash with this dog at the owner's house, the dog was very unsure, and I can see just being with the dog the last few days that he definitely has some fear there. And when I first put him on the leash, he's so used to just being able to stop the leash or do what he would like on the leash that he protested the leash as soon as I put it on and gave him any kind of pressure. He would just kind of flip around at the end of the leash. Now that was at the owner's house. Now as soon as I got him back to my house, we didn't see that that behavior anymore, which is good. And the only thing I want to do with the dog at first is get them to follow the leash and just stand around me without the leash being taut, with it being loose like this. So what I'm going to do is start marking the dog's behavior. That means I'm either going to tell the dog no or attaboy. At first, what we're doing is there's going to be a lot of attaboy because he doesn't know what to do. So I'm just trying to get him. I expect very little. Again, I just want the leash to be loose, and I want him to kind of turn towards me. That's when I'm going to reward him, is when he comes towards me and turns my way. Just like this. Attaboy, good boy, just because he's keeping the leash loose for me. You see what I mean? So if he doesn't come with me, a little correction, attaboy. A little correction just like that, just to encourage him and see how he's stopping. That's okay. That's what we want to start correcting. Good boy, good boy. So if I come back this way, good boy, good boy. What happens is he gets a little unsure and he wants to control the exercise. He's going to stop and try to stop me on the leash. That's where it's my job to correct the dog, and that's the communication right here, that attaboy. Once I get to the end of that leash, buddy, it's time to come with me. So just like this, he doesn't come fast enough. Good boy, good boy. And I can kind of encourage him. Come on, buddy. But what's important, good boy, what's important is the correction, not the encouragement. Come on, buddy. So boom, correction right there. Good job. Good boy. And I'm saying good to him right after I correct him because the dog's speeding up. So I correct him and he comes towards me. And I tell him attaboy. Again, at first, we're not really saying no to him because I'm just teaching him what I want. This is how we first start shaping a heel. So, okay. So I start getting him to come towards me, right? And then when I come this way, he knows to kind of turn. Good boy. So give him a little correction. So this is how we turn it into a heel, is getting the dog to follow us. So this particular exercise is, good boy, good job, good boy, is how we get the dog to start heeling, which is, it doesn't look like it at first, but it's just getting the dog to keep it loose and pay attention to us a little bit, just like that. So that's how we get the dog to start slowing down on the leash. Come here, boy. We get him to start slowing down on the leash and start understanding that, hey, you want to pay attention to me outside. So here you see we have Mr. Cash in his crate, and what we're going to do is, since you just saw me outside with him working the leash, one of the things he did early on was trying to stop the leash, so he would do that into his crate as well. Anything they basically want to protest or not do, they can just use their body to stop on the leash. So we want to go ahead and practice that with them and just take them in and out of the crate. I'm going to show you how I did that at first. So, and to get the dog to sit, we just wait. We just wait with the door shut like this, and as soon as he would sit, we would just ask him to keep sitting. We don't say stay, we say sit to him because it basically cuts the communication down. So we want to say the word stay. We want to say the word sit, not stay. If we say stay, we really mean stay sitting. So we want to teach the dog we mean it when we say sit. So sit. If he tries to get out, what I'm going to do is shut the crate door just like that. So sit, and we ask him to sit again. And basically you can wait for the dog, because the dog is at some point going to sit when they realize they're not coming out. And we can also correct the dog if we need to get him to sit, but the best thing is to wait. So sit, sit, okay, heel. Good job, buddy. And then I'm going to turn around and put him right back in the crate. And I'm not going to make him sit to go in. Heel. See how he's kind of not turning towards the crate? That's on purpose. He doesn't want to go in the crate, but it's okay. What I'm going to do is let him Let him stand. He doesn't have to sit. And I'm just going to tell him, den, and then I'm going to use my leash to lead him right in. If he tries to get out, I'm going to do the same thing that I did earlier, which is shut that crate door. And if the dog doesn't sit, then I'm just going to give him a correction. So I'll wait for him, but we're only going to wait so long, then we have to kind of speed things up. We're not going to wait all day, because some of these dogs are so excited they'll stand there forever because they're ready to come out. Sit. Okay, heel. Good job, good boy. So I say good boy when he comes with me, because again, he had a habit of not coming with me. That's what we did outside. We still practice we're still rewarding him for the things we want. Again, you see how he's sitting, how he's not coming right up to the crate. Heel. He's doing that for a reason. We can't allow him to use his body to not do things like this. Then he goes right in. And how we first did that with him, how we first started getting this behavior, is I would actually take this leash and thread it through the crate, and then I would have him at the front of the door, and I would say den, and I would reel the leash in. So that's how the first day or two looked with the dog. And that's how we started getting this behavior with him, getting him to actually go in on his own, is a combination of, we're using a small prong collar with him, so that's something that actually helps us. See how he's trying to come out? If he does, I'm going to use that door. So the tiny prong helps us, gives us a little leverage with them. Threading the leash through helps a lot, and then at the end of it, what it looks like, I start using my hand. So we're imprinting that muscle memory on the dog by using the leash. So now we're outside with Cash, and now we've gotten him kind of walking on the leash and understanding, like, hey, to keep this leash loose for us, and he's starting to understand that's what we want from him, right? So now the next step is to start getting him to sit. What we consider a real sit is when the dog sits and doesn't move and waits for the next command. Now, you have to start from somewhere, so the way we start that is getting the dog to sit, just to start to get that motion. See what he's doing now? He's trying to back away from the leash, trying to escape. And I just put some pressure on him and not let him do that. So now what we want to do is start getting him to understand what we want. As far as when we're standing still, we want to get him to sit. Also, when you see him backing up on the leash like that, that is some fear. You can see his tail is between his legs, and that's okay. With time, that will subside. He will not have as much fear. He'll begin to trust the leash. Right now, the dog gets unsure, and he wants to flee. Dogs are going to go into a fight or flight state of mind. So we want to start getting him to sit for us. So heel. I'll show you what that looks like. So I can actually just stand here, and I can wait for him to sit, or I can ask him to sit. If you ask him to sit, you kind of want to make it happen. When dogs first come here, we try all different things. I might just put my hand back here and just say sit, and give a little pressure on like this with him. But as you can see, he's kind of resisting that. And we might actually wait till we get that. With him, I know that that's not really going to work as much, because he's used to fighting the leash. I know with this shake can, that gives me a lot more power with him. Good sit, good sit. So just by me having this in my hand, you can see he becomes more submissive. So it's important to use different things to figure out what's going to get the dog to do what I want. Right now, good sit, boy. It's about getting the dog just to go into that position for us. Heel. So I can start imprinting it. Good boy, good sit. See, I didn't have to do anything, so I'm going to give him a big reward for that. He's going to start to figure out he likes it when I do this. The dog can sit, stand, or lay down. Getting the dog to sit puts them at a medium of excitement. When the dog's standing, they're most excited. When they're laying down, they're going to be the least excited. So there's many different ways we get a dog to sit. We do what works for them. We try to give the least amount of pressure to get them to start doing that. And it's about starting to imprint that behavior. So if I just need him to start getting his butt to hit the ground, and with a dog that doesn't have any training under their belt yet, it can be kind of difficult to get them to understand what you want from them. It becomes much easier once they have some training, because now there's a clear line of communication. So this is the first step to getting the dog to start calming down, is sitting next to me when I ask, or just when we're standing around. Starting to put their body in more of a submissive position, their mind will actually start to become more submissive. And we're trying to keep the dog not excited. The more excited the dog is, the more they're going to do things that you don't want. Heel. Good boy. All right, and I can wait, and now I can ask them, because I know I can get them to do it. Sit. Hey, sit. So what that's going to do is he's going to remember that next time I ask him. Heel. So I'm going to work him. We want to work him in this tiny area too, like I'm doing, just like this. Sit. Atta boy, good boy, good boy. So that's how we start getting this behavior. And by the end of training, he'll be sitting a whole lot and for a long time. So what we're going to go ahead and do is end the session now, because he had a really good experience. Okay, heel. He had a really good experience, and we want to put him in his crate. Good boy. We want to put him in his crate and let him kind of soak that up. And we want to end it there because we're ending it on a good note. It was a short training session, but he's ending it in a good way.